Hello everybody, so it's been a while since I make my matcha video. The last time I do this was during pandemic using my camera, so I'm gonna update that. This is our royal matcha. That's what we're gonna do, and this is our black bamboo whisk made in Japan. I really like the color of it, slightly darker, and it seems to last longer too, compared to the one that is made in China. And you want to pick the one that at least have 100 prongs. So this one is actually 100 prongs, very high quality. If you only do like 60 prongs, they seem to not last that long. So not only this 100 prongs, it's actually black bamboo. This is our stand. If you ever check out our matcha set, it comes to this stand, and this is how you use the stand. It meant for you to dry your whisk after you use them. And this is our white matcha bowl. The bottom part is flat, the side is a little bit taller. This is great for making matcha. This is the matcha strainer. For high quality matcha, you want the matcha strainer so that it doesn't have clumps. Very important to know the proper temperature. Usually, as long as it doesn't go over 175, it should pretty easy. The lower the temperature, the less frothy it's gonna make. The higher temperature, I feel like the more frothy, but then you risk of making it a little bit too hot and too bitter. For this video, I'm gonna do 165. It's just easier to drink it. So the first step is, since always wants to moisten your bamboo whisk so that it will last longer. If you don't do that, within months, a couple months, probably if you use it every day, all the bamboo part, it will start falling apart. One of the most important part of tea ceremony in Japan is actually paying attention on your teaware, how to take good care of them. I am guilty with that. I'm not very good at that, and I think in the last video I don't even mention this part. But this is pretty important to make sure that you respect your teaware. You gotta remember making tea is meditating. So doing all this little thing is important for your mind also. Once you're ready with that, you can put your strainer on top of the bowl. I like my matcha strong, so I will put probably 2 scoops of this from this matcha scoop. Some people actually only put one, and it's plenty. I like to do about 2 scoops, making it a little bit more pungent. With a good matcha like ours, you can actually even put a third scoop, and you don't have to worry about the tea becoming too intense or like too bitter. That's the sign of good quality matcha. You can make it strong and still taste very, very umami and savory and nutty at the same time on this particular royal matcha. After that, take your time scraping the matcha. Do not push the scoop to the matcha. You don't want to like press the matcha into the strainer, into the filter. You want to just slowly, gently scoop them like this. Take your time. There's no rush. This is why sometimes it's important for you to have a morning ritual where you can really kind of like pay attention on just being mindful and making matcha the right way. And there's no rush on making matcha. I used to never really take the time to make my tea, and I like to tell a lot of my customer nowadays, no matter how good the tea is, if you don't take your time to properly prepare them, properly enjoy them, even being grateful and appreciate of the farmer hard work to make this wonderful matcha, it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. I always tell people, if you're too busy to even try to do this, I feel like very, very high quality tea wouldn't feel or taste the same. You know, look how beautiful this color is. Appreciate of that vibrant color. I like to start with just a tiny little bit water first, not too much. I also like to tilt my bowl and slowly kind of whisk some of the matcha from the side and mixing them into the water. Rotate the bowl a little bit. As you notice, there's still a lump of matcha in the middle of the bowl, and I try not to just mix them all together. This is a process. Do it slowly. Earlier when I strained the matcha, try to spread it out evenly in the bowl. It will help you during this process. Otherwise, those clump is gonna be difficult to break apart. So, as you can see, just take my time. Do it slowly. There's really no rush. You can, if you in a hurry, you can definitely skip this step. But if you have the time, give a moment in your busy day, some time to just sit down, relax, take your time making this matcha. Whisk the matcha slowly in the beginning. As you can see, I am just enjoying the process of making this beautiful bowl of matcha, and go back and forth. Try not to circle around. You don't want to push the matcha around, so going back and forth like the W like this, just doing it slowly. Pay close attention to the clumps. You want to try to break down as much as clump as possible. As you can see, I even go to the side of the bowl, trying to make sure that I got every little bit of the matcha. Just take your time. There's no rush in the beginning. The only thing I'm trying to do is to make sure that I mix the matcha with the water properly, right? So later, when I wanted to make it into latte, that's when I will whisk it faster. So a lot of time I see people immediately whisk them faster. You really do not need to do that. Enjoy the process. It takes a long time to break down high quality matcha. They're so fine. Think about like cake flour, right? The finer the flour is, I don't know if you ever do any baking. Cake flour are usually much finer than like a bread flour, and for that reason you need to strain it. Same thing with a high quality matcha. If you're not using high quality matcha, you can skip the strainer. But if it's like a high quality ceremonial royal matcha like this, definitely take your time and to break down that clumps, and you're gonna appreciate it more later. Look how beautiful this matcha is. Now I put a little bit more water, but be careful. I don't want you to put too much water. You see, I'm whisking it really fast now, back and forth. If you put too much water, it's gonna make a mess, and it's not gonna be frothy. So not too much. It's barely like maybe like a half inch, or maybe like 3/4 of an inch, so where I can like whisk it properly. Learning on how to put the proper amount of water is very important. You want it to be frothy, you want it to be creamy, you want to break down as much as possible the clumps. You see the color should be almost like white creamy, lots of tiny little holes, right? And if you do this properly, it's really not about the speed. A lot of time people think, oh, my matcha is not frothy enough. Maybe I don't have the right skill, or I'm not doing it fast enough. And a lot of time I tell people it's probably you put too much water, or you put too little water. Sometimes if the water temperature is too cool, it's also not gonna help you. Right, so this is why kind of pay attention. The amount of water you put, very important. And this is another reason why it's important to have a matcha bowl with this like tall sides, Because if you just use like a rice bowl, usually the the side of the bowl is a little bit too low. As you can see, beautiful. That's what you want. As far as like the color, the amount of frothiness, it looks heavier. Suddenly, it looks creamier. When it's creamier, the flavor gets smoother. And take your time drinking it. Don't just like chuck it. Really smell the aroma of the matcha. Think about what you're smelling. Think about what you just created. Think about how does it different with the matcha that I created previously. Did I improve the flavor? Take your time sipping it. Take your time looking at the color, smelling the aroma, right? Let it sit in your mouth a little bit. There is your tongue have 5 different senses plus the umami notes. A good matcha should be very umami. And when you finish it, you can see the bottom of the bowl is clean. There's no clumps. And after that, you should be able to easily clean the bowl. Just put another hot water. Make a habit of cleaning it right away. Get a paper towel. Clean it once and make sure you immediately clean your matcha whisk as well. Those matcha powder some of them might still on the whisk, and if you don't clean it right away, it might become moldy. I don't think you want to do that. All you need is 1 bowl a day. It's gonna be so good for your body. Remember, matcha is essentially a Japanese highest quality green tea. They grind it to powder. So you're essentially putting like basically 6 to 10 cup of green tea into your body because you're consuming the whole leaf. So it's definitely very good for your health benefit. Thank you again for watching this updated long overdue matcha video. Please leave a comment and subscribe if you haven't already done so. See you next time.